I want to get back to this issue of working from home and lazy workers and the like, and remind people what Tim Gurner, the property developer in Melbourne, said last month.
We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40, 50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around.
Yeah, way over the top. Apologise for those comments, Caroline. But it's no surprise to see that in the UK and elsewhere, bosses are saying that their workers are entitled. They can't get them back to work. What's it going to take for Australian companies to be able to get people back to the office?
Well, I think at some point, you know, employers have to put their foot down. In a sense, it's kind of like parents who want to be best friends with their kids. Like, you've got different imperatives. Your imperative is to not be going into insolvency. So whatever is, I suppose, necessary, taking, of course, the employee's welfare and all of those things into consideration, but companies need to be viable. I don't really particularly like the idea about them being entitled, particularly when we're talking about that very young part of the Generation Zs, because they started their work life during COVID. So I actually think it's probably more a product of inexperience than anything. They went into the workplace thinking that everyone, you know, worked in their pyjamas, and that's actually not the way that business is done. That is not the way you build teams. That is not the way you build experience. And that's surely just not the way that work gets done. Yes, some flexibility is fine, but you can't be at home all the time and then complain you don't get work or you don't get promotions or you're not as skilled up, because you're totally isolated from that work environment. And I really did feel for graduates who started their careers during COVID. And obviously I come from a law background. I can't even imagine what it must have been like to have started that experience without being able to look, you know, firsthand at how things are done. And I really do feel for them in the sense of the lack of development of their skill sets, but also their lack of understanding of the way that a good, productive, good cultural workplace functions.
Yes, indeed. We're going to be grappling with this for some time to come. Gemma, I've got to get your thoughts on the AFL Grand Final. Congratulations to your bloody Collingwood. You were there on Saturday, but now there's talk about shifting it to twilight. Give us your thoughts.
I couldn't care less. I've been to a winning Collingwood Grand Final. Chris, I've peaked and I'm probably never going to go to the footy again. It's very, very simple. Look, I don't know that a twilight grand final would be a bad thing. I mean, it's a magnificent day. It's a magnificent event, and I didn't get arrested. I didn't see anyone get arrested. It was just, you know, I'm still sort of bathing in the afterglow, pardon the expression, Chris, but I think a grand final at twilight would be magnificent because, of course, at the end of the day on Saturday, the mighty, mighty Collingwood Football Club ended up in the sunny quarter of the MCG, glaring straight into the sun for the final quarter of football. So I think at least that would remove that element of the game for both sides. And look, everybody loves a night game of footy. I don't think it can be a bad thing.
I think it'd be great for TV ratings. Now, I notice on social media you've shared with us this rendition of you as you in character as a Collingwood supporter on Saturday.
That was courtesy. He knows who he is. My brother's best friend, who I met when I was 9. He's the other brother I never asked for, but I'm very grateful that I have. He sent that to me and he said, "I've fixed up your photo, mate. Good luck for the game." Mind you, he's a dirty Carlton supporter, so you'd expect nothing less, right?
Exactly. Well, it was just a fantastic game, and good on you. Fantastic you were there. Now, we're out of time now, but we've got to mention Meghan Markle is being talked about as a fill-in replacement in the US Senate. Tell us very briefly, Caroline, this is a joke. This ain't happening, is it?
Oh, but I really wish it would, because we would have content forever. Look, she's always been touted for politics. She's very, very interested in politics. Obviously, with Dianne Feinstein passing away last week, a Senate position has opened up in California. Gavin Newsom, who's the governor, gets to captains pick that spot. Understand that he had a Zoom call with Meghan, but she wasn't ultimately chosen. Although Newsom wanted a black woman, he did choose a lady by the name of Laphonza Butler, I believe. I don't think was necessarily in the running. What's happening is because the election is next year, a whole bunch of people have already nominated, but he doesn't want to, I suppose, captain's pick out of, you know, the ones who have already nominated to give him a head start. So it's essentially filling a casual vacancy. She's not in. She's not in. Meghan's not in. It's a shame.
Pick Meghan. Pick Meghan Markle, I reckon. Chuck her in there. It'll be a lot of fun, as you say.